thanks to the supporters of channel member CPO Williams 1. After a bit of a ropey start in yesterday's episode, we set ourselves a target of 12 points from a 5-game spell. We got 11. Luckily, form seems to have turned around towards the end of our 11. There was a little bit of media speculation, very briefly. I might not be much longer in the Leicester job, but hopefully we turn that around and continue the turning around process today in 2 very, very important games. Hello and welcome to part 15 of my FM21 beta save with Leicester. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we face Manchester City in the Premier League and Galatasaray in the Champions League. Since you were last with me, this is what's been going on. I mentioned we needed the 12 points and we only got 11 of them. If we just count back from where we are now, 3 points a win over Palace, another 3 for beating Brighton, that's 6. We lost to Arsenal, but only narrowly. Look who's scoring the goals again. Harvey Barnes is good at football. That's important for you all to note down. But Wolves made it 9, and then 2 draws against Fulham and Tottenham, 11 points. Not disastrous, not ideal. We were talking tentatively about winning the league this year at the start of the season. 10 games in, it's now very much about let's just qualify for the Champions League again. And then actually next summer, do what we plan to do this summer and not sign 6 players so that we can actually sort dynamics out, because as our team cohesion has improved and our club atmosphere has improved, we have turned our form around. If this had been very good from the start of the season, though, maybe we find ourselves up there with Man United and Liverpool and actually in with a chance of being in a title race, which I already think we're out of. I mean, Man United, 14 points clear of us. Yes, we've got a game in hand, but 14 points clear. I know we're only a quarter of the way into the season, but that already seems fairly insurmountable. What is possible to still win, though, is the Champions League, because we've had a very good start to life in the Champions League. We've got 7 points on the board after our first 3 games. We play Galatasaray away today, a win there, and we're into the knockout rounds already, which will be, I think, yeah, Kev maths. We would be into the knockout rounds already, which would be utterly marvellous. But before that, we've got to face Manchester City, who are below us in the league. Another poor start for Manchester City, who had a very rough time of it in the last season, ended up sacking Pep Guardiola, replacing him with Brendan Rodgers. And it seems that he hasn't exactly turned things around at Manchester City. So fingers crossed. Although on paper it looks like a difficult game, hopefully we can make this 3 wins on the bounce in the Premier League and really start to insert ourselves back into that Champions League qualification hunt. So the team we're putting out there for this game is Donnarumma in goal, a back 4 of Grimaldo, Evans, Luis Felipe and Pereira, and Didi at the base of the midfield, Tielemans and Maddison ahead of him, and then Origi, Belotti and David Neres are our front 3. I know Harvey Barnes never seems to start when you lot are here. It's almost as if it's becoming a meme. He'll play against Galatasaray, though. People predicted this. I still really like Divock Origi's work rate. Barnes is a much more of a goal threat, but in a game like this, where I need a little bit more defensive work, Origi just does that better than Barnes, I think. And then Barnes is a better one to be able to bring on, as we've seen in some of these bigger games in the past. Having Origi on there for 60, 70 minutes to do the hard graft, to then be able to bring Barnes on with 20, 25 minutes to go against a tiring right back, that's when Barnes is most effective. Super sub, just uses his attacking, uses his pace against tired defenders. It's when he's at his absolute best. He did it against Dortmund in the Europa League final. He did it against Barcelona. We've seen him do it in the league plenty of times as well. But whenever he starts, he's slightly less effective because he doesn't have that fitness advantage from the start of the game, which Origi creates for him by just running his defenders so hard all game long with his work rate and his endless running. So there is some logic to it. I know it's logic that a lot of you probably aren't going to get on board with, because once you see a man is doing well, you want that man to play every game. I've been down this road before. I remember the James Maddison situation at Tottenham last year. Although, as you can see, no player's ever completely ruled out for me forever, because Maddison's now a star for this Leicester side. But Barnes will get his opportunity. Is this being disallowed for offside? I kind of didn't even acknowledge it because I assumed that was happening. It looks like it's being given. I would like to have a look at this from the other angle, please. They've got Thomas Lemar in their team now, Manchester City, who plays it across goal. Donnarumma with the save. Okay, it's not even close to offside. I wasn't, because I was in the middle, because I was mid-speech, I wasn't fully paying attention first time around, but seeing it on the replay, no question at all. And looking at that XG, Manchester City have not come here for an afternoon play date, have they? They're here to cause us some serious problems, and we need to get our game faces on. Origi is there, and Kev is a genius. Divock Origi, who, you know, I know full well the comment section's told me that Barnes should have started, but Origi's there, repaying the faith for me. I mean, we all know that I've not got him in the team to do that. It's his first goal of the season, but he's taken it well. It's 1-1. We're back in the game. We do need to sort out this XG situation and actually get a hold of this game that's at our ground. But it was an almost instantaneous reply, and that's very important. Here is Origi, who's looking for an option and finds Grimaldo on the overlap, who has just got into this Leicester team as if he's been here for years. Didn't show it there, but Grimaldo has needed no settling in period. He's been a big upgrade on that left-hand side and a constant threat. Ricardo Pereira knew what was going on all the way through that. Completely deliberate, composed defending is what you've just seen there. Now Neres has got Pereira on the overlap if he chooses to use him. He does. Ricardo Pereira looking for the cross. It's a little bit too close to Ederson in goal for Manchester City. I'm not sure if that's the best ball to get the best out of Belotti anyway. But, I mean, we scored from a cross a few minutes ago, so I guess there's every reason to try it again. And there is the exact same goal for a second time. I need to re-record the intro and explain the reason I'm playing Divock Origi today is because I've identified an aerial weakness with the Manchester City right back, and I think if we can exploit that down the right-hand side with consistent crossing to the far post, Origi's natural aerial ability will pose a real threat for him. Someone get that edited in to the start. Make me look like a genius. That's how you do tutorial videos. You record them in the wrong order. Right, Belotti. I mean, he's chasing. He's putting the defender under pressure there. But, I mean, just keep doing what you've been doing now, lads. Origi's got 2 goals with far post headers. Who is playing right back for Manchester City? Who's this? João Cancelo. I mean, I'll level with you. I only know him from FIFA. I know he's quite a useful right back in there. I'm a little bit surprised to see Origi dominating him for far post headers twice, but I'm not going to complain that it's happening. Donnarumma plucks the corner out of the sky with absolutely no problems at all. And we get another highlight starting in the Manchester City penalty area. And they've played it forward to Raheem Sterling, who of course is their goal scorer from earlier on in the game. Cancelo trying to make up for his earlier... it's a bit harsh to call them mistakes. I don't even know that it was him that was marking Origi for those. It could have been the right-sided centre-back, which I think is Ruben Diaz. It could have been him. Again, I wouldn't expect Origi to dominate him in the air either, and that's poor from Grimaldo. After I've talked about how well he's settled in, he was caught flat-footed by Sterling there, but luckily, we've got Donnarumma in goal this year. He's a bit of a difference maker, and now Neres, if he can get there first, which he's going to, can get a counter-attack running for us down this left-hand side, and, I mean, Sterling's just fouled him there. That's a cynical tackle in a position where he knows he's not going to get sent off for doing it, but... he has denied a goal-scoring opportunity there, because if he doesn't get that tackle in, Neres is clear, we get a cross. But just using his brain there, because he's never going to get sent off for it. Right, pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. One thing I'm less pleased with is looking at the XG. We are absolutely mugging City at the moment. We're on 0.41 to their 1.39. Divock Origi is the difference maker. I mean, you've got to give some credit to Pereira as well for 2 very well-placed crosses to make it easy for him. But Evans now to Ndidi and Ramos forward to Neres, who has struggled to get into the game so far, but is coming a lot more in field in the last couple of highlights, I guess, to try and get some of the ball and get involved in some of this attacking action. Grimaldo now looking to repeat Pereira's antics with the crosses, but in fact, it comes all the way across to Pereira. There's Belotti. It's a hat-trick of assists for Ricardo Pereira. It's a different kind of goal this time, and huge credit, I think, to Yuri Tielemans in the middle there, who just... I don't even know how he knows Pereira's there. If you look at how this ball comes into him, Grimaldo across to Origi, back to... it's there. Tielemans, just absolute sensational playmaker play. Good sentence from Tielemans there. it's the last ball you would expect him to play, but he knew it was the best ball, played it into Pereira, and Pereira, we know how dangerous he can be from those crossing situations. Right, I'm being urged by my dugout to make a couple of changes. Barnes can come on for Origi. That was always going to be the plan, but there was talk of one of the defenders needing. There was talk of Johnny Evans, but I'm looking at Evans and wondering, what can we get back to the dugout and see? I'll do the change anyway. I don't really know why I'm making that change, but the dugout was saying, bring on Soyuncu for Evans. And I didn't really read it because I assumed it would be obvious when I got there, but he's not booked. He's not taken a knock. He's not playing poorly. Harvey Barnes is good at football. My word. Can we play both him and Origi? We're going to have to do a 4-2-4. Is Harvey Barnes this good in real life? I know he's got into the England squad recently, but you know what I'm like. I don't really watch Premier League football. I've never actually seen Harvey Barnes play. I'd never even really heard of him until the start of the beta. But he's quite good, isn't he? Kev's hot tip for the future. Harvey Barnes, quite good at football. Right, it's 3-1 to us with 10 minutes to go. We just need to hold on here. We've had a very efficient performance in a game against a team that obviously are better than us, but we've just taken our chances. They've got better players. They've created more chances, but we've just been clinical. Origi and Belotti. And thanks to some, again, got to keep giving the credit to Ricardo Pereira, some fantastic delivery from him. But here's a Kone, and he makes it 4. And Pereira's not involved in that one at all, other than the fact he took the throw. That one's all Jonathan Okone, who last season started very brightly and then really went off the pace as the season went on. It looks like Okone only plays well in the autumn because he started very strongly again this year in a team where he's competing with Neres on that right-hand side. And I mean, that's his 3rd goal of the year. He's started very well. On the topic of that right-hand side, by the way, Under, who would be our 3rd choice right winger, I guess, who we only signed permanently in the summer, we have agreed a deal to sell him for roughly what we paid for him. He's going to be leaving in January, which I'll show you in the January transfer episode when we get to that. But he is on his way out of the club. The signing of Neres just finishing him off with Okone still very much in the plans as well. But that's a good result. Puts us back up into those Champions League qualification spots where we've been absent from all season, really. I think it's at 3 or 4 wins on the bounce. 3 wins on the bounce, I think. But now 14 points from the last available 18 is much better form. It's still not title winning form because we started so slowly. But Belotti's scoring goals. We're winning games. And we could be about to book a spot in the Champions League knockout rounds. What a lovely afternoon. So a little bit of rotation for the Galatasaray game then. Declan Rice comes back in at centre-back. Yeah, I'm still trying to force that. And I'm playing Renato Sanchez as the defensive midfield. They're just looking at each other. Neither of them really know what's going on. But they've got to be flexible if they're going to squeeze into this team. So they'll learn. They'll get used to the flexibility. Aouar also coming in midfield as well, giving me the opportunity to rest Maddison for a game. Where is he? There he is. Rest him. Looking for him down here. He's just sat there resting away. There you go. Having a lovely time too, doesn't he? Didn't even have to travel. We told him yesterday he wasn't coming, so he got to stay back in Leicester while the rest of us have come on holiday to Turkey. Right, pump those fists. Do whatever that bottom one was. It's something to do with the media. I guess it's not prove them wrong because we're playing well. It's justify the media being nice to you. The wording varies. It always does roughly the same thing. I think it's quite a good team talk to do that bottom one. And Ricardo trying to pick up where he left off in the game against Manchester City. That cross wasn't quite as good as some of the ones we saw from him in that game, though, unfortunately. And the ball ends up all the way back with Donnarumma. Still only 30 seconds on the clock. I suggest something might be about to happen here. Was this the kickoff highlight? Neres now charging forward, finds Belotti. Belotti's in and hits the post. Belotti has been, I mean, it's like we've just stuck Jamie Vardy in a time machine and gone back 6 or 7 years. That's what Belotti is. I don't know if this is how they are in real life. Certainly in FM, they're the same player, but Belotti's just a little bit younger. He gets into the same positions. He's just as dangerous. He scores the same goals. Belotti's quite good. Aouar playing it forward, looking for that man Belotti, who does some quite good hold-up play there, finds Renato Sanchez, and there's Pereira looking for another attempt from this right-hand side. This highlight still ongoing. That's a much better cross from Pereira, though, and Origi really owed him better than that. After having 2 goals on a plate for him in the last game, Origi owed Pereira another assist there, but this time heads over from a position we saw him score comfortably from twice against Manchester City. If he makes a habit of nodding them in at the far post, as frustrating as it will be for the Harvey Barnes fan club, if that becomes a regular goal for us, happy days. But Origi did fluff his lines a little bit there. It's back with Neres, who is, as ever, looking for the overlap from Pereira, but this time decides to go on his own, crosses it to Belotti, and that's number 14 of the season already for Belotti. We talked in the last match about how Grimaldo had just slotted straight into this team without really needing a settling in period. Belotti's scoring at a goal a game at a new club in a new country. I think we've signed a couple of players here with some good adaptability who haven't needed very much time at all to settle in. I think it helps as well. Certainly from Belotti's standpoint, that he wasn't the only Italian player we brought in this summer. Obviously, Donnarumma Italian. Luis Felipe had been playing in Italy for the last 3-4 years. So there's no language barrier there. Grimaldo, presumably, I mean, who else speaks Spanish in this team? Do we have any other Spanish players? I don't know that we do. There must be people who speak Spanish knocking around the place, you would think. We've won a penalty here, I think. The ref's going over to the little telly to have a little look. The manager's just parting, let the referee through. I'm not going as far away as he is, though. He's legging it. Look at that. He's terrified. He's crabbed walked all the way back to, about as far as he could go without it looking really obvious what he's doing. I'm there tapping my watch saying, come on, ref, make this decision. No penalty. Ref? What? I've been complaining a little bit about VAR recently. But there you go. There's VAR in action. Beautiful. No penalty, apparently. And we are top of the group, though, as it stands. We know a win was all we needed to qualify. But as it stands, it looks like Ajax against Napoli struggling a little bit. I mean, to be fair, I'm surprised to see Napoli only on 3 points for them for their first 4 games. I would probably put Napoli favourites at home against Ajax, but they've had a rough start. And they're going to be looking to get back in the mix today. And if they do, it's good for us, because if we can come here and beat Galatasaray while Napoli beat Ajax, not only are we nailing on that qualification, but we wouldn't be if Napoli won, would we? Do we want to qualify? Do we want to win the group? I want to win the group. Napoli have now gone ahead. But what it does mean is we wouldn't be guaranteed qualification yet. I'm happier winning the group, I think. I want that gap at the top of the group. We'll take the risk. We'll back ourselves to continue beating teams and playing well, I think. Right, we're going to bring Ndidi on. He is going to drop back there, allowing us to release Renato Sanchez a little bit further forward. Declan Rice still struggling in that defensive position. We don't actually have a centre-back on the bench. That seems like poor planning. Only one centre-back in the matchday squad. Castagna can come on at right back. We're going to make a triple substitution here. And we'll bring Calvin Phillips on in midfield as well, who has become, I don't want to say a forgotten man, but with Sanchez and Rice both arriving, game time is becoming a lot harder to come by for Calvin Phillips. Even Chowdhury's played a couple of matches in Champions League games, who wasn't here at all last year. So Phillips is probably one. I'm not going to stick him on the transfer list immediately, but I think Calvin Phillips is 25 now. He got himself sent off here because this might be the thing that makes the decision. He hasn't. But at 25 years old, not a regular starter, I think we're open to offers for Calvin Phillips, but we don't feel the need to just offer him out just yet. It's always handy having homegrown players. Certainly now we're a Champions League club, and that was one of the reasons we spent all that money bringing him in anyway, because of that English passport. But then I guess Declan Rice has one of those these days too, doesn't he? Right. Well done, everybody. Have we qualified? We weren't keeping up to date with the Napoli Ajax game in the end, and I've got a little bit click happy there. I'm assuming Napoli won. We're down to 6th again in the Premier League. I don't know what's gone on there. Napoli beating Ajax. So we now go into the next game, which is at home to Napoli. Now, if we beat them, that we're through. I think I'm probably going to show you the away game against Ajax. I always think the away games are a little bit more interesting in the Champions League. So we're probably going to be back with Chelsea and Ajax tomorrow, or maybe Ajax and Arsenal. We'll see who's higher in the league out of Chelsea and Arsenal. But definitely we'll show the Ajax game. Maybe. I don't know. Do we want that or the Napoli? There'll be people saying both. It isn't going to be both. It'll probably be Ajax, because you've not seen Ajax yet. You've already seen Galatasaray and Napoli. So Ajax tomorrow, plus a league game, and hopefully we can continue this little run of momentum that we're starting to build up. We're building up a head of steam, and as we showed last year, we're good with a head of steam. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.